Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're listening to the podcast Capturing Magic. I'm Bill Rogers, the voice of Disney. Thanks very much for listening.
Hey everyone, welcome to Capturing Magic. I'm Steph Clay and I'm here today with Heather Whitfield, who can be found at heatherw.com/character. Hi, Heather.
Hi.
Oh, and then your social media, HeatherW25 on all social media. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, and then we also have Tanya Hickman, who can be found at TanyaH666 on social media and everymagicmoment.com. Hi, Tanya.
Hello.
Okay, we're talking about saving money on your Disney trip.
Yes.
Yes. And I actually came up with this idea because I was talking to Heather. We were texting about going to Disney a lot and how people think that we're spending a lot of money to do it, but actually we're not. Because we do it, a lot of things we do cheap. We don't go big we will maybe have one or two things, a trip here or a trip there where it's a splurge, but most things we're trying to be cost conscious. So, and a lot of things that Tanya or that Heather was sharing with me that are just second nature to her, people don't know about. So one of the things, Heather, that you mentioned, we'll dive in here first, is about your annual pass and how you get that.
Yes, I have the Disney Visa card, and I know, there's all different, credit cards you could have that have different rewards. So like, you could have a airline one and they can give you the miles and that could be good, or, all the other ones. But since I practically live at Disney, I have the Disney Visa card. I have the, I forget what it's called, the one that you pay like $50 more, so this way you get even more bonuses. Yeah. You get like double points, like when you use stuff at Disney, which again, I do. And, when you eat and all this other stuff. And I put those points towards my annual pass, and I haven't paid for an annual pass since probably like 2012, maybe. So, yeah, and we do that because my mom and I both, share the card. So that helps also. But yeah, I put everything on it, and it's what I do, and I use that money towards Disneyland tickets, and it's, that's my thing. I don't do the airline one only because I use a different airline depending on the price, or if, like when I go to Florida, I use Southwest, and when I go to Disneyland, I use different airlines. Most of the time now it's American because that's like the only one that goes nonstop from here. But, so that's why I don't want to like spread it out or type of thing. So that's what I do. And so it's not like it's free. I guess it is free, but it's like, so I feel like every time I go to the park, like I'm not paying to go every time I'm going. I certainly get my money's worth, even if I was paying for an annual pass amount I go. But so that's how I do it. And I think people think every time you go, like, are you paying for that? And you're not. When you have an annual pass or whatever. So that's my tip. I love that card. And also even when you use the card, 90% of the time when like I give someone my card, they're like, "This is so cute." That's even an extra bonus.
Envy factor. That's funny. Yeah, when we moved, there's always a lot of big expenses with moving. And so when we moved, I applied for the Southwest credit card and then put all of the moving expenses on that card, ran it through the card. That's what I call it, is running it through the card, because I'm putting it on there, paying it off, and moving it through that way. Mm-hmm. And so I was able to accrue by getting that card and, meeting their minimums within a certain amount of time, which it's sometimes hard to meet those minimums. You have to like charge a bunch within a certain amount of time in order to get all the points. But because we had moving companies and all of that we needed to pay for, it worked out great for us. And I was able to get enough miles that this last trip that we went on with our family, I was able to get all 5 of our tickets on Southwest for free with those points that I had accumulated that way. So that,
awesome.
Yeah, that's a big, because from Arizona to Florida, airfare is not cheap. I'm sure it's similar to what Heather's looking at going across country. And it might even be more, because sometimes going from coast to coast can be less expensive than, but we're usually looking at about $450 round trip per person for airfare to Florida, unless we can find some kind of a deal or miles or points or something.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's like the other thing too, is from where I am, I go out of Philadelphia, and I don't know if it's because it's just such a big, hub for, I don't know, Florida, whatever it is, but flights aren't expensive. It's like usually less than a 2-hour flight. And since I fly so much, so I get a lot of, points for that. I do survey things to get miles, and that helps too. But I mean, it's not going coast to coast type of thing. So the airfare for me isn't that expensive. So that's another thing when people think like, oh, you're going to Disney, and it's like, yeah, well, it's not really like, that that expensive. Not like if I was flying out to California like constantly, like that would be a different thing. But that's the one that's always harder. But I have seen people have been posting like a lot of really cheap flights from like LA or even just like California to Orlando. I don't know why, but there's like some really good flights right now.
Yeah, someone told me about Google Flights. If you just Google that, Google Flights, it's apparently the best aggregator out of all of them that are out there. There are a lot of them out there to find inexpensive airfare.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone knows, not everybody, because but I mean, the airfare watchdog. So like, I follow that. I have them email me this stuff all the time for Orlando, for everywhere around the LA area and all that kind of stuff. So they do that, but they don't pick up, I think, on Southwest.
They don't. And
isn't there like, I think there's another one that they don't pick up on. But Southwest, I always pay attention. They have a sale actually right now, so I still haven't decided when I'm going to go in the fall. So I'm trying to figure that out. But they have a sale that's going on right now for that. But yeah, that's the thing. I've looked at the Google thing too. Like you just put in there and it'll help you with that. But yeah, there's I guess I'm sure there's others that do that kind of stuff. But I like Airfare Watchdog.
Yeah.
I use Airfare Watchdog too.
Yeah, I've used them for a long time, a lot of years. I've been finding less deals through them lately. I feel like I need to go in and change my settings, because I feel like I get more spam from them than I actually get helpful deals. And then Kayak I like too. They do a pretty good job, but same thing. And Kayak will do Southwest, which is kind of nice. But yeah. There just aren't many deals.
A lot
to
of
be
good
had.
deals from where I am, to Florida. If you go on Frontier, there's like $30-some. Like that's like my boyfriend when he came up here, like that's what he went on. But then you have to do the whole thing with because when I go, I have luggage and like all that kind of stuff. So like you have to pay for everything for those kinds of flights. But if you don't, then like that's a good one, I guess. If you don't, I've seen people, they said
if you don't need luggage.
Yeah. Well, like when he came up here, like he just had like a carry-on, and it's like yeah, I can't do that. Even it's like a short trip. There's no way I can just go with the carry-on.
Frontier doesn't even let you take like a full carry-on bag. It's just a
right
item, right?
Yeah, a backpack. Yeah, I can't. But they have a thing, right? They have something that I think you pay. I can't remember if it's $40 or more than that, but it's like it gives you like all those extras, or a lot of those extras. So like I guess you could do that, but then you do, you have to
if your flight
add something to it.
If your flight is cheap enough, adding that extra money on top of it, if it still makes it cheaper than flying like Southwest or something,
that's why I always check that. But then by that point, it's usually like about the same, and I really like Southwest. Yeah. So I generally just keep going back to that. So
I do too. Yeah, there aren't a lot of deals. Like I've never seen Southwest put Phoenix to Orlando or anywhere in Florida on sale ever since in the 2 years that I've lived here. Even when they do the big sales, I can get to, when they do their big sales, I can get to Orange County for $39 each way. Super cheap. Great deal on Southwest, but they've never done it from here to Florida. It's hard to find good deals from here to Florida. I was going to ask you, have you ever flown Spirit, either one of you?
I did a long time ago. That was
it's been a long time.
Yeah, and it was, they used to have, I mean, I think they still have it, but it might be harder, where it was like a $9 thing. And so when we would go to spring training, we would fly out of Atlantic City to Tampa, which is right near where the Phillies play spring training, and it's about like an hour or so away from Disney. And so our flight was like $9. Which is like coming back, like it might be like 40, but that was like our thing. So we did that a lot when we were going to spring training. That was like before I was really going to Disney a lot. And then as I started going to Disney, I was looking at that, but then they started going up, and they also are kind of adding everything and another one of those things. And I don't know. Like those kind of airlines, it's always like, are they going to put you on the wing?
Yeah.
But I have people that do it, and they're like, it's fine. So I don't know. It depends, I guess.
Yes. We have Allegiant flies here right out of the town that I live in, actually, in Arizona, and right near it. And it's great. And they've just added a flight to Clearwater, I believe. Yeah, to Clearwater. But the thing with them is they only fly that route a couple days a week, and they've been known to cancel it for weird reasons. And so that would really super stink to have. Yeah. But it's, it's a lot less expensive, but I guess it's the risk you take. So anyway, moving on to
sign up for airplane discounts, guys.
Yes.
That was what we were getting out there.
That's what we were getting. Notifications and Google Flights. You can, I just jumped on there real quick. You can track routes similar to what you can do on all of the other ones too, and get alerts so that you know what the best prices are, and if the fares are going to be going up and down, what their forecast is, and then they'll tell you when to buy too.
And
that's good.
And be flexible too, because sometimes if you just change your flight by like a day or so, I mean, you can check. Sometimes if you come in a day early, then you think, oh, it's real cheap, but then you still are going to have to pay usually for a hotel, but you can figure it out. Sometimes it still makes sense to do that. Like I like with Southwest, and some of the other ones have that too. Like you can look at the, like by month. Yeah. And so you can see that and be like, oh, hey, well, this day is like $70. So I'll do that instead of the other day that's like $175.
We did that coming home because we had miles on a different airline to use coming home. And by staying 2 more days, we were able to use our miles and get it for free. And so that's what we did, was we figured paying for a couple more days of hotel was less expensive than 5 airline tickets home. So worked out great. Okay, food. Let's talk about, what other, I guess just in general, do we have any ticket saving, like Disneyland? I guess we could probably break it up into like these categories and then do Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah. Disneyland very rarely has any sort of discount on tickets.
Yes.
I mean, I get asked this all the time, and all the time I'm like, I am so sorry, but no.
Right.
They used to do the Costco tickets, and they used to do, I think they did do earlier this year, like the 2 for kind of deal. I think it just expired at the end of May or something like that. People were able to do the 2 days for a cheaper price, but they don't, you just have to watch out for those.
The only time usually the only time they do something like that is when they're having a hard time getting people to come. I have a lot of people that have told me before, oh, if you go through this vacation website, or I'm trying to think of what the name of it is, you get such a great deal on passes. But the reality is I've gone in and I've compared them in detail, and they're approved tickets resellers, right? Which you only want to buy from an approved ticket reseller, or you're going to run the risk of getting conned.
Yeah.
You don't want to go on any like eBay. You don't want to do Craigslist.
Craigslist, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to see any of the ones that say like, "Oh, we have like a partial ticket," and I mean that's or like like you're in Florida, there's signs, on the thing like, "Oh, come in," like, no, don't do that. You're just gonna lose out on money.
Just don't. Yeah. But those ticket resellers for Disneyland and Disney World, I've gone through, and people get sucked into it because they advertise 50% less or 25% less or whatever. So I've gone through and figured it all out. The most they are is $5 to $10 difference.
Yeah.
At the most. And like $10, that's a huge difference. Usually it's $5. Yeah. The way they're able to say that they have that much of a savings is that it's the difference between pre-tax price and once your tax and fees are included, which you always have to include. Disney on their site, they always include the taxes and the fees, and so the price that you see is that final price. The other websites don't include that in the price that you see, and you don't see those fees until you check out.
Yeah.
So that's how they're able to say that you're saving as much money as you are. So don't believe it. And especially people that are, because I go with people that believe these things, and then we have to spend an hour waiting in line for them to redeem their piece of paper for a ticket. At the window. And then we have to go wait in line, and we have to do another thing, do the photo thing at Disneyland. And just don't buy into it. It's not worth it. Buy it online through Disney, and then you have your little e-ticket on your phone. Yeah. And you can go right through the turnstile. You don't have to wait in another line.
Honestly, the biggest ticket not necessarily discount, but tip that I give people is if you plan on going to a Disney park twice a year, get a pass.
That's me. Yes.
Just get a pass. I mean, not only is it, if you're doing 2 5 to 7 day vacations, you're already getting your money's back right there. Plus you get a merchandise and food discount.
Yes.
So, I mean, if you're going twice a year, just get a pass.
Yes.
I know there was the whole math on it. When I first got my pass, it was something like if you're going 10 days, it's worth getting the pass. I don't know what it is now, especially there's so many different levels if you live in Florida, for the Disney World pass, and there's just 2, but just, like you said, you have so many discounts and stuff. I think once you add that in there.
I mean, a 1 park, 1 day Disneyland ticket is $110. That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is insane. I mean, and if you want, you can't. It's so crowded now that if you're paying the $150 or $160 or whatever it is to park hop for 1 day, you're not even going to get to see anything.
Yeah.
You can't do 2 parks in 1 day now. It's just too crowded.
It is. It's true. And then also if you add in the Memory Maker in Florida and you add in the photos in, because when I went through and calculated it out, that's one thing that I had to add in. I was thinking, okay, 2 trips. So that's 2 different PhotoPass purchases for California.
Yeah.
And 2 different Memory Maker purchases in Florida. You have to include that as well. There is a website that I use anytime I'm looking at getting an annual pass for Disneyland. It's called mousemonthly.com. They do a really great job of breaking down and figuring out where your break-even point is on all of the different levels of annual passes. And so, for example, the deluxe annual pass, they say that the break even is if you were to do a 5-day park hopper plus a 2-day park hopper, you're saving $25 already.
That's just one vacation.
That would be 2 vacations, because 5-day park hopper and then a 2-day park hopper. But I don't go to Disneyland for only 2 days. Some people do, but not me.
No.
Yeah. So, and that's just the deluxe. That doesn't include the photo pass and all of that. You'd need a higher level annual pass for that.
That's because that's the one I have, and so
and even the difference between the deluxe and the signature that does include the photo pass, it really is. It's not that great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a difference. I mean, you tack on 2 more park hopper days, and it pays for that right there.
Yes.
It's not that much. It's really not that big of a difference when you consider that you're getting the photo pass. You're getting a higher discount.
Yes, you get 20% instead of 10.
So.
And I would also say, once you figure out when you're going to go, like buy your tickets because you want to get it before the price goes up because they go up. What is it, like twice a year now, or is it once a year or twice a year?
Going up twice a year, yes.
Yeah, so like don't wait until okay, well I'm going like in October, so like I'll buy it then, and like the price could go up once or twice in that time period. Yeah, if you buy like annual pass voucher, like you don't use it, you don't until
and we never find out until like the day before that prices are going up too.
Yeah.
And so it's always a scramble to try to get tickets before they go up.
Okay, so here's along those lines. Here's one of my big park saving tips or my money saving tips. Yes, absolutely. As soon as you know you're going to go, even if it's a year or 2 years later, buy the passes. We thought we were going to be going to Disney World almost a year, 2 years ago. Yeah, a year ago right now, I guess is when it was. We thought we were going to be going in. So I got online and I bought passes for everybody because I heard that there was going to be a price increase the next day. I got online and bought all of our passes, and indeed there was a price increase the next day. I was so glad that I got them. And then we decided not to go. Well, those passes don't expire. So I just went into my Disney experience and entered in everyone's numbers so that those passes were linked to our account and I didn't have to worry about finding the email again and all of that other stuff. And then in between that time of buying that, so the next day there was a price increase. And then again, before we went again, there was another price increase. And so I saved us $100 per ticket by doing that with the price increases. And then when you get an annual pass, if you have a ticket, and you go and upgrade to an annual pass, they will bridge that price difference as if you paid the current rate for a ticket.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it ended up saving us about $200 per annual pass.
That's awesome.
Yeah, for my husband and I, because we're the only ones that got annual passes at Disney World. But because I had bought those tickets so long ago and hung on to them, and the way Disney does things, it saved us about $250 per pass. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah. And so then then we had all of those discounts too that go along with having an annual pass for those trips.
And the good thing is, I mean, at least right now at Disney World, they have a lot more discounts going on for annual pass holders. They did it for the anniversary. And so they have a lot of 20% going on and more places. And I'm hoping like they'll keep it, even though it says it's supposed to expire, I think like in October. Kind of hoping even if they don't keep the 20%, they'll still have so many places, because they had been adding more and more restaurants over the years. Like when I first got it, there was like 1 or 2 restaurants that would have it, and now there's so many. I think because there's a Tables in Wonderland that you can get, which gives you a discount on, food, and it also does it like on alcohol at the restaurants, which like an annual pass never does. But it's gone up so much since I first got that, and so I don't have that anymore at Tables in Wonderland, and I'm sure a lot of other people don't. Like if you're a local, it's probably works out, but otherwise it doesn't. So I like the annual pass discount for restaurants, and they have some even for counter services now. So
yes,
crossing my fingers that they keep them, even though it's supposed to just be for the anniversary of the Magic Kingdom.
I'm hoping they'll keep them as well. Another thing that they did when I got my annual pass in Disneyland this last year, they were running a promotion where if you got an annual pass, they gave you an additional month for free. So I ended up with 13 months.
Yeah.
Which I've never seen them do before.
Yeah, no. I've never seen them do that either.
Yeah, they did that at Disney World too. And again, I think they said it was supposed to be for the anniversary, but then they kept adding it. So they still have it now, because I've seen people that they're renewing their pass and they were given the extra month. So
I wasn't
that
when
is
I bought
really
mine.
Nice.
I was, not that I'm going to complain about a free month, but I was complaining about a free month because my pass always expires like 2 or 3 weeks before the April price hike every year. And now with that free month, it pushes me behind the
But you can still renew it before
I know I can, but I was just like,
Yeah, mine is usually like right after it too, but then I usually go and like renew it earlier because of that. But now my pass, because mine was always like, not always, because I had changed it to make sure that it was because I wanted to have a princess race in there, because originally it had been like December, but I kind of changed it because I didn't go. So it's in February, but then now I have it added, and so it's like the end of March. So it's still there. So I'm gonna have to renew it before that, because they usually have one of the prices increases usually like in February.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just so that people, I want to make sure that people understand, because we were talking really fast on that. On the renewals, you can renew at any time. You can pay for that renewal at any time, but they'll just tack it on to the end of your annual pass. It's not like they're going to change your renewal date to the month that you paid for it, correct?
Yeah, I feel like it's 60 days. At least with Disney World, I think you can do it 60 days for.
It's 40 for Disneyland.
Okay.
You can do it 40 days in advance.
Okay.
Because I know when I did it, I did mine in December, because the thing too with Disney World is when you the whole Fast Pass Plus, and if you want to, make your reservations for that, if you can do it 60 days out if you're staying at a resort. There's so much math involved here. So So I wanted to make sure I renewed mine early enough so I could make my fast passes for my princess trip. So I had to wait until that 60-day thing so I could renew it, and then I could go and then make those fast passes. So that's the whole added extra thing you have to think about.
Yeah, I know people also say the price hike is in March, and your pass doesn't expire until March, April, May. So you're missing that 40-day window. I know people that just before the price hike will go. You can buy Disneyland annual passes at the Disney store. You can buy them at the supermarkets here in California. There's multiple places you can buy them, and you'll buy them for those annual passes that are in the supermarket. When the price hike changes, they don't take those original ones down.
Right.
That's too much work. So you can still get those annual passes at the supermarket for the cheaper pre-price hike price for quite some time. So you just buy one of those, wait for your pass to lapse, and then because once you buy that little card that gives you the annual, that is for the annual pass, it's not activated until you activate it at the park. So, you can just kind of hang on to those things for quite some time until you're ready to go back again, and you have it at that pre-price hike price.
That's a good tip. Really good.
They also have you can get vouchers for your annual pass, so you can do that before the price hike, and then you don't have to use it. I think you have a year, or maybe not even an expiration. But so you can do that if you know you're coming, and you want to get an annual pass, but the price hike's going to come, get that, and then you don't have to worry about it until.
And it's so much easier to do it that way, because the moment they announce a price hike, that 2 days before that, the ticket booths at Disneyland are insane with people trying to get the tickets beforehand. So it's just go to the supermarket, dude. Just make it easier on yourself.
Get on your website. Get on the website.
Yeah, just get on the website.
For real.
100 other places you can go.
Yes.
And a lot of times too, when they have that price hike, the sites that we were talking about that save you $5 or whatever, they still have the old one, and they'll say that for a week or something more, and they're we still have it, so you can save a little bit more if you can do that.
Yeah, you can get the old price until they sell out of those. However, because they pre-buy them. And so however many until they're sold out, and then you can get the old price for that long until they're sold out.
Yeah, so. tickets are literally the worst part.
They're the most expensive
part.
They're
the most expensive part for sure.
And there's just not a lot of ways to save money that are legal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to talk about food on this episode because we're going to be doing an episode strictly about food. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about lodging.
I stay with my mom, so
you've got the best deal.
Money saving deal.
Yeah, the best part is you get friends that live around the area, and then that saves it. But barring that, I think that's the hardest part. It's much easier for me at Disneyland because I stay off property there. And it's cheaper, and it's actually easier. I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel once because my hotel was sold out, and I did not like it at all. The idea of it is cute, and I liked because for the race it was great because I could just kind of roll over there.
Yeah, it was a lot closer for a race weekend.
But now the way they do the race, you have to get into the corral. Like that wouldn't help anyway. You still have to go like all the way around. But otherwise, to get to the park, it's way farther and it's way more expensive. And it's not like at Disney World that you have a lot of perks about the whole, Magical Express and Extra Magic, like all that kind of stuff that I always feel like I have to stay on property, which is not the cost conscious way. But at Disneyland, I don't. So that is, I think it's way easier to save money because there's so many hotels there. There's a lot of really good ones. I once stayed, you can look, and it's true even for the Disney hotels, like on property at Disney World and Disneyland. Like you can look at some of those hotel sites, like, Trivago and like Expedia, and like they have the Disney hotels, and they will pop up sometimes of like good deals. But I got like a $60 hotel like last minute at Disneyland, and it was like the door didn't close one day. It was,
oh my god, that hotel was not good. That hotel, I mean, not good. You got it for super cheap, but it was not a good hotel.
It was not. But like, yeah, it was not. But it was like, if you're when you say money, it was last minute. I'm talking like a week.
If you're not going to be in the room for like, I mean, if you're literally only using it to sleep, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, there are a lot of good, ignoring that one, there's a lot of really good hotels. And
Heather and I love the Candy Cane Hotel. Like I love that hotel.
Yeah, don't nobody go there because we like.
Yeah, don't go there.
Don't sell out.
Don't take up those rooms.
But yeah, that's what I like to say. And I've stayed at the Howard Johnson too, which was nice. It was like on the opposite side, but I like that one, and it's good. So you can like usually walk to it. A lot of the ones will have like shuttles that will go there. It's so much better, I think, to stay off property, and it's
a closer walk, and it's a closer walk than staying at the Disneyland Hotel.
It's
I mean, like, so at Disney World, it's harder, but there are a lot of, especially now, it just feels like they keep going up in price and I used to always find good deals at a Disney resort. I used to always, like, I had an annual pass rate, and it was great, and now even those aren't as good, or it's harder to find, and for me, that's the hardest part, is finding the lodging. So sometimes now, if you go off property, like, it might be better. But then I've even looked, I've looked on property a couple of times. A lot of them have a resort fee. So you add that in, and then you add in, like, you might rent a car, or if you take Uber, like and you're going to have another thing about that. I take Uber a lot when I'm there. But, if you start adding that in, it may still be close enough that, like, if you're staying on property, you still have some perks and stuff. So still do that math that you don't, when you look up like another hotel, and it's like, I've looked at the Disney Springs hotels. Sometimes I think like, oh, I'll stay there. They usually have like a lot of discounts, but they have like a $20 resort fee, and you have to pay to park, and like all those kinds of things. And it's like, well, then it's like only a couple dollars less than if I stayed here. So that is the hard thing. And the other thing I will say, I don't know if this is more food or what. A lot of times people see like the free dining, and they're like, free dining, this is great. It's going to save me so much money. And a lot of the time it doesn't. Like, you have to make sure you do the math on that, because if you're paying rack rate for the room, which again, as I said, keeps going up. If you compare that to, usually there's still a discount at the same time, like a discount for everybody or an annual pass discount. A lot of times, like anytime I tell people and I'm like, do the math, and they'll do it, and it's cheaper to take the room and not do the whole dining thing, which is a separate issue. So that's another thing, that just when it says it's free, it doesn't mean it's cheaper.
Yes, and that's my husband and I always have that discussion about free dining. He's like, but is it really free? I'm like, well, if you're paying full rate, yes, it's free, blah, blah, blah. But usually you have to do, in order to get free dining, you also have to book your passes through them too, don't you?
Yeah, like they used to have a thing for annual pass that like you didn't have to, but even now you have to get tickets.
Yeah, because so if you have an annual pass, it doesn't help you at all.
And you can't put that ticket now towards an annual pass. You used to be able to do that kind of thing. But if you're getting it for the free dining,
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. So it's like,
yeah. Yeah. And one thing to mention, okay, for Disneyland, I've stayed at a lot of different hotels out and around Disneyland. I've also stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and Paradise Pier. And I think the hotels that are right across the street on the opposite side from the Disneyland Hotel are actually much closer of a walk to the main entrance than those hotels are. And they're so much more expensive. It's hard because I don't think that there are any really nice hotels in the Disneyland area that are within walking distance. You pay a crazy amount more than you would for that same quality of a hotel anywhere else. And but there are some nice hotels that I like to stay at. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess what I'm saying is, for the amount of money that you're paying in the Disneyland area, they aren't as nice as the dollar value is on them. That's what you're paying. But there are some nice and decent hotels around there within walking distance that I've liked to stay at and that I've had great experiences at. The only time I've stayed on site is when I've had a sister or somebody else coming with me where we can share the bill.
Yeah.
Just because it's a fun thing to do. I do like being able, especially when there's new things. We did that when Cars Land had just opened and we were able to get in on the early, the extra magic hours into California Adventure, and we were able to ride Radiator Racers several times in a row. And that was nice. A really great perk. Disney World, you can stay on site, I think, affordably at Disney World far better than you can Disneyland, far more easily. If you compare the prices, a lot of the hotels the prices for the hotels out and around Disneyland are the same prices as the moderate level hotels on property at Disney World from the comparisons that I've done. Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks for agreeing with me, Tanya.
It's funny because when I stayed at the Disneyland Hotel and I couldn't even use like the magic hours, like because it was a race weekend, so the times like I had to get up early, like I couldn't, or like so I didn't even really get that perk when I
That's a bummer.
stay there.
Because really, that's the only perk there is.
Yeah, it really, and it's not worth. I stayed one night like at the Grand Californian for mine and Chris's anniversary. He took me there for one night. It was on a Tuesday. It was off season, and it was so expensive.
It's so expensive
to stay there for one night. I don't know. I honestly don't understand how people stay there for like 5, 6, 7 days.
Either.
It's so expensive, and there's nothing about it that makes it worth that price. Like I mean, you have the gate into DCA, but really, like, it's only like an extra 20 feet if you just walk out a building to the normal turnstiles. Like, no.
People do it, and they, and that's, I don't want to diss on the people that, that's important to them, and they spend money there. If you have that money that you can spend on staying there, kudos to you. Amen. Go for it. It's not in my budget, and it hasn't ever been. Someday, maybe but. For one night, you did off season on a Tuesday, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we all should go and stay together.
Split it. There you go.
Ridiculous.
Invite a couple listeners, and then we can all split it.
Yeah, it's like I would rather, pay a quarter of what we paid, and then be able to splurge on food. Or I go do a couple dining things that I want to do. Like, it just makes more sense to me.
Yeah, I would spend money on food over my lodging at Disney any day of the week.
I would spend money on food before anything.
Yeah. Disney World, I do find good deals occasionally on accommodations, on-site accommodations at Disney World. You just have to keep your eyes open. And a lot of it, Port Orleans, I've been able to find, $170 a night for Port Orleans, $140 a night, I think a couple of years ago, which is great for that hotel. Our last trip, I felt like we scored big time. There are some people that would not ever do this, but we got in on Caribbean Beach. They're getting ready to do, or they are doing a big, huge remodeling there. And so they made an announcement that if you made a reservation by a certain date, it was March something, if you made your reservation by that date and it was within this certain travel window, you arrived within this window, they were giving $75 gift cards per room per night that you were staying. And so I went ahead and booked it, and that's what we did. For us, that made the difference between staying on site or off site.
Yeah.
We have a timeshare down there that we can, that we pay an annual fee for. And that's one of the things when you hear people, or I've listened to other podcasts and they talk about their DVC owners. So their timeshare doesn't cost them anything, and they never factor that into their expenses when they're budgeting their trip. It costs you something. You paid for it, and you're paying annual maintenance fees. And so you have to, our timeshare that we have in Florida, we got a Screamin' Dill on. We were able to, it's a Sheraton Vistana down there. We got it for $1 on eBay several years ago, and we pay $700 in maintenance fees every year. So that's what I include in my budget when I'm budgeting Florida. That's my hotel budget, $700, because that's what we pay every year. It is not free. I don't pay nothing for that. I have to include that into my budget. So if I'm able to get, usually how we figure, if I'm able to find a deal where we can stay for, $1,000 on site, then we go ahead and do it. And that's what I was able to do. With that rebate that I got back, it was a fabulous deal. Or the gift cards that I got back. And then we just turned and used those on food in the parks.
As you do.
Yes, I do.
I mean, another good tip, even though I've never been able to get it to work for me, is that you can get, like, when people have a DVC, but then they will rent their points.
Yes.
So that you can get like a hotel, like a, DVC hotel, like way cheaper than if you bought it through Disney.
Yes.
You kind of need to do that though really far in advance, because, I don't really do that. And so anytime I've tried, even when it's sort of in advance, I've never been able to get exactly what I wanted. So I haven't done it, but I know a lot of people swear by that, and they love it, and they can get moderate, rate for a DVC hotel.
Yes, we did that actually for my 40th birthday trip when I did the California straight to Florida thing. My husband he rented DVC points from a few different people, and we were able to get 2 nights at Saratoga Springs and 2 nights at the Boardwalk, I believe, and then 1 night at Animal Kingdom. And we ended up paying about $140 a night per all of those. So, it worked out. That's how which is so cheap for those places. Yeah. It worked out, and they were just studios, but it worked out great for us. I haven't seen deals like that since we did that birthday trip, and that was 3 years ago. We've been watching, but point prices have gone up, the demand's gone up, but they are getting ready to add a whole bunch more. The guy, one of our bus drivers at Caribbean Beach, was telling us that the DVC property they're building there is going to be 7 stories.
Jeez. And
it's all going to be DVC. So that's huge. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great way to go. I agree, Heather. Okay. Any other lodging? Let's move on to what else do we have? Budget conscious tips. Transportation. Use Magical Express. Uber's a great thing too. And we've started actually staying further out and Ubering in, and that works out to be significantly less expensive.
Are we talking about Uber now, or
let's talk about transportation. We're going to do Uber, our experiences with Uber, in a different show.
Okay.
But let's talk about transportation, if you're going to do a rental car or whatever you're doing.
Well, if you're at Disneyland, any airport you fly into can shuttle you straight to Disneyland. And then once you're there, if you don't plan on leaving property, you don't need a car. You don't need, there's nowhere to go. Like, you're there. So, I mean, unless you plan on leaving the property for some reason, again, Uber's a great choice. There's tons of them around Disneyland all the time.
Yeah, we use Uber a bunch there. Even just like the little, because like, even if you, like, we did the race, and so it'd be like one spot and you go back to the hotel. Like, normally I could walk back, but then when it's like, I don't want to walk back.
Yeah, the candy cane, our little candy cane hotel is very close to Disneyland, but when you walk from the candy cane to the Disneyland Hotel, that is like a really long walk. So we will Uber from the candy cane to the Disneyland Hotel. Yeah, but it works.
And I mean, yeah, and I use it a bunch at Disney World, and I know we're going to talk about another show, so I don't really get into it that much, but I think it's a pretty cheap way to get around. I mean, before that, I had taken cabs like every now and then, and they're really expensive there. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, I've done that. I also, like, my other tip about with the lodging is to have friends, and so I've been really lucky. I've had friends like drive me around, but I know not everyone can do that.
No.
But yeah, they have. I mean, I know a lot of people like getting a rental car, and so like if you stay on property, like, you don't have to pay then to park, or if you're an annual pass, you don't have to pay to park, and
that's at Disneyland, you have to, if you're staying at the Disneyland Hotel. Oh, I don't know about the Grand California, but at the Disneyland Hotel, they charge you to park your rental car. Yes. Like, it's like $20 a day. It's the price of the parking structure. So actually, if you're staying at like one of the Disneyland hotels, you're better off not having a car.
Well, even any of the other surrounding hotels, that's about what they charge you for parking. Any of the hotels around, even not the Disneyland Hotel, any of the other ones, that's about what they charge, $15 to $20 a day.
Well, it depends on the candy cane doesn't charge.
Oh, they don't?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, all of the other ones that I've stayed at.
Yeah, I was like, oh, yeah. If you stay at like one of the bigger ones, like a Marriott or the Sheraton, but if you stay at one of the little good neighbor hotels, I don't think some of them don't charge. Okay, Candy Cane doesn't charge, and I don't remember there being a charge for that one crappy hotel you were at either. Heather.
No, they didn't, and I don't remember about Howard Johnson. I feel like they didn't, because I think you parked there once.
Yeah, I haven't stayed at the Howard Johnson, but I've stayed at the Fairfield, and then all of the Best Westerns right there I've stayed at.
They all charge parking?
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, no, the Candy Cane does not. I mean, they have a 1 car per room minimum, but they do not charge for parking. Now I feel super blessed that we stay there.
Yes.
They don't charge.
You need to like cut out the name of it so like people don't keep going.
I know. I've tried to stay there before, and I've never been able to get in. But I'm not a very advanced trip planner either. I'm usually last minute.
Yeah, with Disneyland, I tend to have more of a planned out things. That's why I have that.
Yeah. Also with the Candy Cane, sorry, Heather. If you stay there, they give you a discount for your next stay.
Oh, cool.
And they also have, and I think a lot of the hotels around there give you a discount if you're like an annual pass holder.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Oh yeah, a lot of them do. Sorry, back to transportation.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
And like at Disney World, I don't know, because I haven't stayed off property in like over 10 years, but I don't know if they do that or not. But a lot of them, like I was saying before, like they'll charge you for parking. But, once you're on property, like you don't have to pay, like, Disney Springs, like you don't pay for parking, like anyone doesn't pay for parking. And so, I mean, you could do that. And you can get a rental car, like at the Swan and Dolphin, they have like a rental place. So you could like.
They don't charge for parking at Disney Springs?
No, not for anybody.
Crazy.
Yeah. And even they have all these garages and everything now. So.
Yeah, they do.
And there's also the rental car, by the Magic Kingdom, right? So I think, those are like the two. If you just want to like rent it when you're there and like don't worry about anything else, you can do that.
Yeah, there's several different places around the Disney Springs, especially area, that hotels and stuff that have different rental agencies within their hotel where you can get a car. So one of the things that I would suggest, if you're going to split up your vacation, or you're going to be doing other things. We knew that we were going to be doing some other things while we were in Florida, so we split up our vacation and front-loaded it with Disney And then the rest, everything else was on the other side. And so what we did was we took the Magical Express back to the airport and went and got a rental car. We had a rental car reserved, went and got our rental car, and then went and did the rest of our vacation that was not Disney related. And then just used the Disney buses. And I think we Ubered it a couple of times. With a bigger family, it's harder to Uber, and we can talk about that later. But anyway, it's a very affordable way to get around. Ubering and Lyft, super affordable way to get around. And when I was at Disneyland, I went in January with my husband, and he was staying at a conference in Newport, and so I Ubered it up from Newport, and it was only like $20 each way to Uber to Disneyland from Newport. Not bad.
Yeah.
And if you're renting a car, like make sure you price out all the different rental places, because sometimes it's more expensive at the airport.
Yes.
And so like on property it might be like cheaper, because that's even why I remember when we rented a car, like that's why we got it. We did it that way. And I saw somebody like the other day mentioning, they were like, oh, it's so expensive. So she was looking at other places. So that's another thing if you want to save money. Don't just be like, oh, well, the car's here. Like I'll get it at the airport.
Yeah, and that's my husband's really good at. He loves doing stuff like that. I hate it. He loves crunching numbers that way. And so that's what he did. It was he got on and checked all of the different places we could rent cars, and it was going to be $100 more to pick it up at one of the non-airport places for us. And so that's what we did, was picked it up at the airport.
Yeah, I feel like Disney like knows that most of their people will only need a car for like a day. To run to one place here, one place there, so they probably can gouge you a little bit on that, because they know you don't need it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, since Orlando is such a big tourist place, like the ones at the airport, you usually can get like a good deal on a rental car.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, is that all the stuff? Since we're talking about food in a different show, Uber, is there any other budget tips that we have?
You can get like the Disney like gift cards, and a lot of times the like Target will have them on sale. And then if you have
your red card,
and then you can get like a discount, like additional discounts. So you can get them like a big discount on. So like I know a lot of people will go and they just wait for that, and then they get a whole bunch, and then they use that to like pay for their vacation.
Target puts Disney gift cards on sale?
I've never seen them on sale. In my area, they might do it where you live, because that might be Disney trying to get people to come. I bet.
Maybe I've never heard of that.
Yeah, they'll have like all their gift cards on sale. It doesn't happen often, but I want to say like once or twice a year, and they'll do that. And so, and then like you said with the red card, so you can like double up on that. But the red card is all the time, so you're saving money like that way.
Yes, your red card will give you 5% off of the Disney cards anytime you buy one.
Wow.
And then also sometimes they'll have like the airline will have like gift cards the same way. So you can do that. And lots of times you can, I don't know, there's different sites, but there's different sites that'll check for those kinds of things too, or like accounts and stuff. And like sometimes they'll put on eBay, like Southwest sometimes has a gift card, and it's, like $10 off or something, or like there'll be a Groupon for it. So like just keep an eye out for those kinds of things.
Yeah. Good idea.
I was at Disneyland, and I was on one of the Toy Story parking lot buses going into the parks, and it was are they Disney employees that run those buses? They are, right?
In Disneyland?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm not sure either if they're Disney employees or if they're Anaheim employees.
Yeah.
Because the lady that was driving our bus was talking over the speaker. She was just having a ball, like talking over the speaker the entire time. And she was talking about how no matter how hard your kids cry, don't buy them a souvenir, because you can get it for a third of the price at Walmart. Like, and it was, she's like, I don't care how much they cried, don't buy them an overpriced stuffed animal. Go get it at Walmart. Like, I was dying.
So funny.
So funny. But I was trying to think of besides an annual pass discount, there's no other real way to save. I mean, you can, buy some Disney-ish souvenirs before you get to the park and bring those for your kids, so you don't have to spend $30 on a stuffed animal. They might not know the difference, depending on their age.
Yeah. The
'Cause
younger,
Souvenirs,
the
the younger ones.
The younger
The
they
younger
are,
ones
the
for-
easier that is. It gets harder as they get older. I have, though, I will say, princess dresses. I watch the Disney store.
Yeah.
Because they go on sale a lot on the Disney store website. And I've been able to get fabulous deals on those.
Yeah.
50% off, 60% off on the dresses. And then I just take them with us to the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. And that works great.
Yeah, I watch the Disney Store website because they do their twice upon a year sale. You can stock up on shirts to wear to the parks and, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And in the stores they have, if you have a Disney store, like ours always has like a rack or something with the clearance stuff. So like I always like go through that and like, and of course I always leave the Disney store with something.
A lot of the time the t-shirts in the Disney store are always like buy one get one 50 or something, right? Like
they have that not all the time, but they have that a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So buy your merchandise before you get to the parks, people.
Yes. Yeah, I do that.
I mean, they sometimes have like at Disney World. I think that maybe they'll have that at Disneyland too. It depends on the time of year, but they'll have like if you eat at like a quick service place and then like on the bottom of the receipt they'll have like a discount, like a percentage off if you go to like a store, and it's like certain times it's like
I haven't seen that at Disneyland
I
in a while.
I have not seen it either at either park.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah. But
I know I had I think it's like during during like crowded times, or I forget when they do it.
I forget.
So they do that sometimes. So like check your receipt.
Pay attention to your receipt.
Yes, because they're just trying to get people to go earlier in the day instead of a park closing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because it's like you could get a 10% discount if you shop between 2 and 4 p.m. or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yep. But they won't let you stack discounts, I've asked. They won't let you use your AP discount with those.
Well, that's rude.
I know. Right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
At first, one person told me that I could, and so then we went, and then they were like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, I thought it was too good to be true.
You'll hear my 17 receipts.
Yeah, exactly.
Start stacking.
Yeah. So, okay, let's remind our listeners where they can find each of us. Tanya?
You can find me at everymagicmoment.com and Tanya H666 on all social media.
Heather? Okay, I'll go. And then when we get Heather back, Heather can go.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Yay. Okay, Heather.
The first time that we went off when you're talking to me.
I know, right?
I'm Heather. My character site's heatherw.com/character, and on social media, I'm HeatherW25, and my Facebook character page is I Love Characters.
Okay. And I'm Steph. You can find me at Capturing Magic _ on Instagram. And then also I'm at modernphotosolutions.com quite a bit. Be sure to check out the classes that we have over there to help you conquer photo overwhelm and get your memories taken care of. And thank you for being here. We appreciate you spending some of your day with us. And we'll see you next time on Capturing Magic.